Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 29th of April. Now this week is another big week for US earnings, and it's also a week where we've got the Japanese markets on holiday for the whole of the week, so that could make for some interesting market conditions. So let's go and take a look at a few markets here that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room. Now, the US indices have had a very good run. We were looking for opportunities focusing on the S&P 500 last week. Those played out nicely with the market sort of pushing on up towards its nearly testing its all-time highs. So those markets have sort of played out and are testing those sort of all-time highs. Same with the Nasdaq as well. But when we come and take a look at the Dow here, this is the Dow futures contract. We can see that this one is the little bit of the lagger. This one's still got a little way to go to get up towards those sort of all-time highs up here. Now, our preference here is to be trading the lagger of the markets, of the three, and we're still seeing good structured trends on this market as well as the others as well. So we're still looking for continued long opportunities on these markets, typically on the intraday timeframes where the market sort of pulls back into sort of levels, back into moving averages. They look like good opportunities for sort of new positions. So we're still happy to trade these markets long as these trends are staying intact through this week. Now, if we come and have a look at the precious metals, our sort of favorite commodity this week is on the silver market. Now, gold at the moment is retracing off the 1290 level, which is a level that we've spoken about many times before. And of course, gold and silver are highly correlated. We're seeing the correlation of weaker markets in silver as well at the moment. Now, the reason I like silver slightly better than the gold at the moment is when we look at silver here from the higher time frame perspective, we can see that the monthly chart is just a nice trend. The market's just sort of selling off from the sort of moving averages there, and even if that starts to come down to its old sort of recent lows, if this recent leg of the trend, it's still got a long way to go on this monthly chart. Come down to the weekly, and we can see that on the weekly, the market has now put in a nice structured short trend. It's pulled back into this sort of 1510 level, which is also a level of previous resistance and also support for this market. And now we're selling off. The price is selling off from that 1510 level this week. So if this trend is going to continue, we can certainly look for retesting of the recent lows of last week, and then the sort of lower lows down here towards these where the market has sort of tested a couple of times before. So they're sort of down towards this sort of like $14.35 sort of area. And that's sort of a nice move here short on silver. Now, the timeframes that we're likely to be executing trades on are likely to be from the daily time frame and lower, but we'll be trading those moves off those higher timeframes. Now, from a currency perspective, one of the markets here that we're keeping a close eye on is dollar Sing. Now, it's like a lot of the US dollar markets. The dollar has had a very, very good strong move last week. It's having a little bit of a retracement this week. Probably well deserved after the big moves that it's had last week. But the technical structure across these US dollar markets is starting to look quite interesting, particularly here on dollar Sing. So if we take a look at dollar Sing, bearing in mind the idea of this play is for dollar strength to continue. So if we get that dollar strength continuing, this is a market that we'll be looking at trading in order to be able to take advantage of that. Now, taking a look at dollar Sing here on the weekly chart, you can see we've got this level at 136 where the market has found previous support and resistance many times. Now the market's now sort of swung around, it's above that area and started to come back down towards retesting it. So this level of previous sort of resistance is now becoming support. We can see this on the daily chart. We've now got the sort of context of a long trend sort of forming with the early signs of good geometry and convergence as well. Now, this 136 level has been quite strong support and resistance in the past. We're looking for this area to sort of find sort of support around this area, and if we find support, then that could help to be a turning point here for these markets to start to look for longer moves. If we come down to the 8-hour chart and the 4-hour, you can see where the 136 level is here on the already established long trends on these sort of mid time frames. And if we take a look at the 8-hour chart here, we can see the 136 level. That's the level we saw on those higher time frames. But even on this time frame, we can see that there's another price point here, just slightly higher than the 136, where the market's tested a good 4 times before recently. Now, prices sort of pulled back into the moving averages here on the 8-hour chart. It's also sort of like finding support around that 136 level. Just at the top of the current candle is this higher level that we're seeing there. So that's around sort of 136 sort of 15. So nice area here for this 8-hour trend to start to look for continued longs. Now, of course, we'll be looking at opportunities long if the 136 sort of 15 level, if the market gets above the 136.15 level, then we'll be looking for longs on dollar SING. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week. I certainly hope it helps. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.